here we are, the final video of the long-running U-boat build that I've been building since I cannot remember. Let's just put it this way, it was before the pandemic. So put the finishing touches on it today, including the decals for the labeling of the U-boat and U995. And here it is. Finished the weathering, finished the rigging, finished all the tiny, delicate little bits of metal for the railings. Difficult to focus in on those. Finished the addition of bits that I forgot to glue on previously. Yeah, here it is, done, finished. And it is going to be out of my life as a build now, which I'm a little bit sad about. It's been sitting there looking at me for many years, but at the same time, I am very glad it is done. So, I do not recall what the last video finished on, but the main things that I needed to finish at that point, if I can think back that far, I could have watched my video again, but I haven't. But yeah, really with the weathering, most of that's been done now. A combination of just applying sort of rust, oil, soot, dirt, any of the weathering paints or powders or what have you that you can get your hands on. I just mixed them up and applied them one after the other, and then washed them. Lots of washes, lots of really diluting the paints until they were very watery, and then just going over and over again. And I found that particularly over just brushing that over and over and over the paler colors really did give a lot of added depth to those as well. I enjoyed doing the rust washes across the hull. That ended up depositing some quite nice rust lines on the joins of the tanks on the side in particular, but all throughout. And then the rigging was the other thing. Now this was arguably probably one of the most fiddly of the parts of the build, even though if you've seen any of the other videos, you'll know that there's quite a few fiddly parts to it, particularly the photo etched metal parts. But the rigging, this is all string, very, very fine thread, I should probably say, very, very fine thread that comes with the kit. But you can use any fine thread but you get it with the kit, so you may as well use that. Then these are plastic. Someone might be able to tell me the exact correct terms for these, but these joining what have yous are made of plastic. You have to use a very, very fine manual drill of like 0.5 of a millimeter to drill holes in the tips into which you thread, and that's fun. You thread the thread through, like basically through a needle. Then you tie it off. So you have to do that, thread here, a piece of thread down to here when there's another joiner here, and then thread through there, and then it needs to get tied off at the very front. And then similarly at the back, you have two coming down here. They come to these struts here, and then they go down through to the back here. Now if you are building this kit, be very, very careful of these. They are very fragile when you cut them out. I broke one of them during the cutting out part of the process, cutting it out from the base sort of sprues, what have you, and I had to glue it again with just with your standard plastic glue, and I had to do that a couple of times. I broke it again. It's very frustrating to break it and have to glue these things back together again. So I'm hopeful that this will hold now, because of course once it's weakened, and you have to string these out here and create some tension, which creates tension both in the thread but tension in the build as well, in the mind, as you're trying to get that threaded on and it not breaking again. So there's lots of very, very fine tying these off as well, but that's where your forceps or tweezers come into play. You have to also attach them down at the base here. So I use the same 0.5mm handheld screwdriver or screw to, not screwdriver, but drill, I should say, is the word that I'm looking for here, to create holes down there into which the thread is pushed. And then once they're all sort of tied off and pushed in, I used just some super glue with a toothpick, just to dab super glue on these, just to basically as an insurance policy. Not that I don't trust my little knots that I tied those on with, but it just creates a permanent hold there for that thread to hold on for the rigging. But here we are. That is it. Oh yeah. Also, you have to attach the rigging to these little triangles here. Oh my goodness. See if I can zoom in on them. Yeah. Let's see if we can get some. You tie it in on that. Very, very fine. Very, very challenging to do so. Let's see if we can get some other close-ups here. But as you can see, you tie it on. There's a little bit of thread still. How should we say, not yet cut off. Oh dear me, can we even get that focus? That's about as good as I'm going to get. But I cut it as close as I could. Again, sorry, without, that's just not going to work, is it? Without breaking the pieces. So if you've got a very fine pair of sharp scissors, they will work an absolute treat. Flag, of course, is censored. So I got out a little black pen and drew on the rest of the emblem on the flag for historical accuracy. There are parts, I'm very, very hesitant to touch anything at this point, but the periscopes can indeed still come up, like this one, if one wants, but I'll just leave it down for now. Of course, the hatch opens and closes, but that's been demonstrated in a previous video, so I'm not going to mess around with that. The guns here, they don't really move. God, I can't remember when I installed them. They might swivel? No, I don't think they do. I think I glued them into place. But the the weaponry there is attached and doesn't move. The decals, there are decals that go on like so. I probably should turn this boat around so that there's some decals on the other side if we come around here. There, sort of like the Olympic rings. Not the best looking decal in the end because they're surrounded by that white. You can't really do anything about that. So I may just keep them in behind at the back of the model. But there we have it. I don't intend to do any more on this model. This is the end. I will now be popping it on a shelf of some kind and looking at it and not having it look at me, asking me when I'm going to work on it again, because I don't need to, and I am both happy and a bit sad about that. It's been such a long-running project. If there is anyone watching this video who watched from the early days, then I hope that you are as pleased as I am that this long journey is at its end. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another video, which will almost certainly not be about the U-boat.